Hey guys, so you know that movie Caroline? I think I'm saying it right, but it's a cartoon movie. It's not really a cartoon. It's like a clay, a clay movie. Anyway, the basis of that movie was this girl. She was living in two different dimensions. Her parents moved to this big house and she wasn't all that connected to her parents. She wished that they were more fun or different. She wished for a different version of them, and she got to experience that different version. But that version was um, like destiny swapping, from her parents, and ultimately she ended up um, having to fight for her parents, to fight back. But her parents didn't remember what happened after the whole thing was over. And she was back to having her parents, but, you know, it wasn't the version of them that remembered the events that actually happened. So she was connected to the version of them when they needed help. They were conscious and aware that they were captured in some form of way, right? In this other dimension. And they were calling out to her for help. Anyway, you guys have to watch the movie. But I just wanted to give you a little spin on and just put your mind like in the thought process of what I'm about to say. Okay, so some of you are in the process of wanting the new life for yourself, but the old existence of yourself still wants the script right. You still want to change the script. You want to change the manual script. You want to change how things played out, and the events are already played out. Is actually at a point where the star is about to run out of gas, okay? Because that's already a life or an existence that the stars that you already played, because we are all stars, we're all celebrities here, right? The star that you already played is running out of gas, and it's running out of gas because it's supposed to. It is destined to. It's running out of gas right on time. You cannot go and give gas to the star that is supposed to burn out. You can't rewrite the script that is ending. This play is ending. All right. So you have to move forward into the new life. No matter what you do, you cannot go back. You have to move forward. All right. The new script you've been creating this whole entire time by living the old manual script. Okay, I call it manual script because it actually is like a manual script. Okay, it's telling you what parts go where, and we don't we don't heed those sections. We don't read those sections to tell us exactly what parts go where. What we do is we eyeball it, and it's not really made the way that it's supposed to, where it'll last. It's not put together the exact way that it was scripted to be, programmed to be, how it is designed to work. So we get a bootleg version or a demented version of, and also a version that we feel like we are controlling or we can control of the said situation or product, right? And then the product ends up not working the way that it's supposed to work due to us bootlegging it, and not building it, or, you know, well, yeah, building it the way that it's supposed to be built. Okay. So, some of you that are script writing, or you keep replaying the motions in your head, it's like you're entertaining the ideas right now. It seems very, very, um, doable that you could script write and change it when time, fate, destiny, well, not time, but I would say fate and destiny is pushing you and telling you that it's over, that you have to go into the new. Do not waste your time trying to write a script, rewrite this script, because the question that you are supposed to be asking yourself and also aligning to, like the real alignment, is whether or not you want to live the true version, right? The true version, the version that you actually created to be the actual outcome of everything, right? Do you want to live that, or do you constantly want to live a bootleg version? Okay, that movie Caroline, it got really demented, where the actual entity that was siphoning her mom's and her dad's life or existence due to Caroline wanting to experience her mother and father in a different way, she was trying to kill them. That energy was an energy of trauma, of control. It was an energy of soul snatching and destiny swapping. It was an energy of knowing. Caroline was conscious and aware of knowing that these beings, or these entities, this different version of her mother and father, and also the reality of them, were not real. They had button eyes, you know. And the more time that she spent in the other dimension of her parents, the real timeline was being destroyed. It almost ceased to exist. So the question is whether or not you want to live a bootleg version or existence of your star energy where you're going to burn out, or do you want to go forward, prepare yourself forward into the existence to where your star can be positioned in the sky and live out that full version without burning out, without it being prematurely burn out, without the story ending prematurely or in chaos or in ruin for yourself. We always say what's destined and fated is going to happen no matter what, X, Y, and Z. You know, at the same time, we're not saying or meeting that statement in a realistic, logical thinking, because we are not realistically, excuse me, guys, um, living the true manual script. We always live from a very illusionary thought process of how things are supposed to be, or the alignment of things. We want to still try to control it, but destiny and fate is just what it is. It is already pre-written. You're just riding the way forward, and how you choose to travel and ride that way forward. It could be bumpy, it could be smooth, it could be traumatic, it could be happy. You can have an existence of, hey, I have no control and I'm just traveling. I'm traveling towards something that I've already premeditated, I've already designed already, and I'm happy to travel. I'm happy to experience what I'm experiencing. And not every Well, put it this way, you're not going to travel like happy always, because you have times in your script to where it is pushing you out of the bounds of control, it is pushing you out of your, or what you feel is your limits, so that you can grow, so that the chrysalis would not just capture you and encase you to where you never want to come out, you never want to grow again. The chrysalis stage is a scary yet very safe stage, is where people kind of get stuck because you don't have to move forward. There's nothing that you have to move forward into, you know. It's not forcing you to move. It's very safe after a while because you don't have to deal with weathering the storms. You don't have to deal with people. You don't have to deal with situations that you can't control. You don't have to deal with anything at all. You're in the chrysalis, the womb, the transformation. But that's the thing. You're in the transformation, and it's isolation. It's safe. And that was a part of the plan as well. When it's time to come out, you will come out because it's time. The chrysalis is not going to hold you for forever. But what's going on in the chrysalis stage is your mind transforming as well, expanding past limitations and fears. If you are operating in a seat of destiny and alignment within your consciousness, people talk about being conscious, but they don't talk about how it's closely connected to logic. Your subconscious is the delusion, but it also is programmed. And you are always working to not reprogram your consciousness, but to simply flow with it and grow. So the question that you are trying to figure out right now, and it's hard for you, but it's not, because you are already going to live this existence, but consciously being aware of how you choose to live this existence is going to be your best friend. At one point or another in this whole spiritual experience, right? Everybody's raving about this spiritual experience. The spiritual experience is very sobering. It leads you to be conscious. It leads you to be logical. It leads you to a simpler way of living. It leads you to fully understand that things are how it is, and you can only just be. You do have control over how you choose to be, how you choose to ascend and grow. Your subconscious mind is like a child, is closely related to the soul. It has no bounds, it has no limitations, it has no fears, but it can be easily programmed by your fear, by what it is you're trying to stop it from experiencing, which is limitations, when it knows no limitation. Trying to stop the very part of you that you are more closely connected to, and also where you originate from, which is the soul. Everybody thinks it's the spirit, but it's the soul. It feels deafening. It feels like a betrayal, you know? I know I say this a lot. Like, if you tell a child that they can't do something that they feel like they can do, children feel like they can fly. And it's because there is nothing that is stopping them from doing it. Also, where they've come from, there was no limitations. There was no one to tell them anything other than just be. Just be in form, in whatever form you choose to exist to be in. That's the way that your subconscious ends up being programmed to loop those fears, to loop patterns of limitations. And that is where we get into the feeling that we can control things on a conscious level. And that it shows up as what we call the ego self, which is the shadow self. It could play in your life as something that's good, or either it can really dement you. It can really torment you. Because to feel like you have control over anything other than unrestricting yourself, growth and expansion, and being able to choose consciously and subconsciously how you're going to travel to or towards whatever it is that you've already written for yourself, it's a lie. You cannot control anything other than how you choose to exist and be. That's my dog in the background, guys. If you can hear me, if you can hear him, he's cleaning himself. But these are the thoughts that came up tonight or this morning. I keep saying tonight. This rising, you guys. These are the thoughts. This is what came to me. And like I said, your choice right now, your not choice, your question right now is whether or not you really want to live in your fullness, or you want a demented version, you want a chopped up version, you want a version that you're going to always be praying, wishing, and wanting to ascend from. We're all asking for ascension, and throughout this whole process, that's what we're doing. But we go kicking and screaming because we choose not to exist. We choose not to live within our being, or just being, simply being. You do have a choice. You have a choice. You have free will to experience how you want to experience, which is your being. How do you want to experience your being? But what is already written is written. Anyway, this has been the message. I hope these messages find you well. Love, like, peace, darkness in between. Namaste.